Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Invictus Racing League, the Xbox platform, F2. Today we will be doing the Dutch Grand Prix, and I hope everyone is strapped in, ready to go. I am your host, Dixie Thomas, streaming for this league for the very first time, so we'll see how it goes. No pressure, of course. I try. Anyway, looking onto the track, you can see some cars getting ready to go out. The weather's looking a little overcast, a little bit wet here and there. I've heard from some people already that the race will be wet, in which it will be raining. Which will be very interesting to see how people perform. We're on a track that's never been raced around in F1, obviously since they stopped racing around here. We'll be riding on board with Overly Designed, who is currently the first person on track. As you can see, everyone's on the soft tyres, except for one person. Smalley, I believe. Yes. Who is currently on the medium compounded tyres, but based on everyone else's tyres, he'll probably be going on to the soft compounded tyre as well. If people in the stream chat just currently update me on my voice to the current volume of the actual race itself, it'd be appreciated. But anyway, on to the first lap. We'll ride on board with the Haas, see how he does. Going through the first sector. It does look somewhat wet, but obviously it's not raining. It's just the track is very green right now. Track evolution means people will definitely be going quicker. Obviously purple sector 1, not anymore because the racing point just behind him is also on a lap. As he goes very wide through the apex, into the final sector we go. Let's see how he does through here. Does alright. On the power down nice and early. Short shifting of course. Gonna get the best exit he can onto the straight. It'll be very interesting also to see what people's strategies are for this race, and also the setups. As you can see, goes P2, P3, as mates or mites, goes provisional P1 with a 110.8, and we'll be able to see if anyone else will be able to beat that time. Most likely. As you can see, Scarata's just unvalidated his lap. He won't be able to improve this time round. Have a look to see where people are. Right on board with Max. P1 again. Provisional by 6 tenths. As Watch Gerbil and then Jamie go ahead of Mites. So far it's looking alright for the Red Bulls. Currently P1, P2. But we'll probably be expecting, of course, you can see likes of Callum in the black Mercedes, improving to a 109.8. We'll currently see Bear Motor on a lap, and the other car just getting out of the way for him. Nicely done. As you can see, Maniac has just gone with a 1099. Provisional P2, 30 minutes still left. Yellow flag in the second sector. As you can see, Motor going at 1095. Very well done from the Racing Point driver. We will ride on board with Leclerc, as he is just ahead of Scarata, in which we'll then ride on board as Scarata after Leclerc. See how Leclerc does going through the final corner. On a straight DRS open, nice and early. P5. And Scarata's gone at P2 for the AlphaTauri with a 109.6. 3 drivers still in the pit lane, of course. Well, sorry, 2. No, never mind. 3 drivers still to settle up. Farfu currently the last one of 3. We'll see how he does riding on board with them now. As you can see, Mates has done the fastest lap, but it's glitched. Oh well. We can see Farfu getting purple sector 2. And going through the penultimate corner now. When he hit the apex. It's nicely done, but that's invalidated. Unfortunately, he's just run a little bit too wide. Track limits in this game are ridiculous, but they have to be put in place. Just obviously reduce cheating, etc. It's not really fun. But we move on and we live with it. Currently on board with Ricardo in the McLaren, as his fellow teammate Rob, or Kendo, as I commonly call him. He's just settled up. He's just about to settle up now. Start his lap. Ricardo going through the final corner now. He's just run out of ERS, unfortunately for him. Slowed down because of that. There's P5. It's not the worst. And time to gain, of course. Going on to that straight. You don't want to lose any ERS there, because it will cost you badly. As you can see, Farfu going purple sector 2 again. Not running out of ERS as well. This time does not exceed the track limits. Goes to the final corner now. Opens DRS. And he will go P7 with a 110.4. And we'll also ride on board with Scrub now. Just about to go through the penultimate corner. See how it does. Could have taken a little bit more exit speed, going out onto that curb a little bit, but it's just keeping it clean for now. As a provisional lap, he goes P12 with a 111.1. We will move on. As you can see, Jamie Roddy has just improved on his lap. Only puts in P10 though. Maniac is in the pits now. Callum starting a lap on a new set of soft tyres. And we'll move around to see who else is on the lap. Matt's currently not improving. He's down by just under 2.5 tenths. We'll see what he does here, whether he goes through with this lap or he aborts it. He's invalidated anyway, it won't matter. There's yellow flags, and Mates is in the wall. We'll see if he gets out of the way in time. He's just not getting the wing off anyway. But he will be going into the pits regardless this lap. Unfortunately ruining those fresh set of softs. But we will have plenty more of those to go around. As you can see, stop going in the pits. Yellow flags again, just letting people by. We'll ride on board as Smully, who unfortunately invalidates his lap time. We'll see what he does here, whether he just peels into the pits. Yeah, unfortunate for him. Callum currently goes P2, which is good for him. Although, still time to gain from people. we will ride on board with Scarata. No, we won't, because he's just aborted his lap, or he's just going into the pit lane now. Or he's just doing another outlap. Jamie currently half second on his lap, although I don't know whether that's just his last lap. But we'll see. Going into the second sector now. Nicely taken. And yeah, he's not on a lap. He'll be on his in lap. Paper Stream in the Retro Williams. Personally, one of my favourites. I don't know why. It just is. Going through the right-hander now. He's holding it in 5 though. In 5th though. Also on his in lap, I believe. Most people either in the pits now or on their outlaps. As you can see, the one driver that was on the medium combat tyres has now indeed gone on to the softs. I'm gonna see if I could pause it. The thing will reset. Okay, yeah, good. The lap time counter has actually reset. As you can see, yellow flags in sector 2. I don't know what that's from. Whether it's just going wide or whatnot. Let's see what Leclerc does. Leclerc's currently gone purple sector 1. We will ride on board Leclerc as he's 4.5 tenths up on his lap. It's a little bit wide there, compromising his line. Okay. Decent enough run. Getting on the curb. Going into the third sector as he goes purple 2 as well. It's very, very nice run through there. Into the penultimate corner. He hits the grass a little bit, which compromises one tiny bit, but it's alright, it's alright, it's alright. DRS open. Runs to the line. And he goes P6. Unfortunately, hitting the grass, getting a little bit of a poor exit onto that straight. It's definitely hindered him. At the same time, it's a matter of how people's setups are. Whether there'll be some that are running slightly more aggressive setups to those that are running slightly more higher downforce setups. As Dan23X has joined the lobby. It'll be interesting to see how he does. As we'll ride on board with Overly Designed, who I believe, yeah, he's on the lap. Let's see how he does. He's run out of the RS. No, never mind. Unfortunately, cannot improve off his 1:12.4. Smolly is 7 tenths up on his lap time. So we'll currently ride on board to see how he does. Taking a bit too much curbing, and he's in the wall. And there's the loss of the end plate. Luckily, Leclerc, I do not believe, was on a lap either. Yeah, as you can see, he's pitting into the pits. Smolly also hitting the wall on the way in. Overly Designed. No, he's not going for it again. We'll ride on board with Mites on those fresh softs after that one incident which left him in the wall. And we'll see where the Racing Point driver will end up. Where would it be? Only P11. Which is a bit of a surprise. But at the same time, I don't really know people's pace. As I said before, this is my first time commentating in the stream. So it will be interesting to see how people do for if I'm able to stay on for another week. I'll get more of an indication as to see how people are around here, well, not just this track, but in general, race pace. See those that are currently outstanding, to those that are a little inconsistent or slow or whatever. As my first time, not going to be biased towards anyone. Yes, I do know people here, but will that stop me from showing my support for other drivers? No. because it's all about everyone here, not just those individuals, although for the championship, of course, it'll be interesting to see those that are the fastest, for obvious reasons. We'll see if anyone's currently on the lap. Jamie is currently half a second down. Dan is running off the track. Callum currently 4.5 tenths up on his lap. We'll ride on board with Callum, see how he does. As there's a supporter of Callum in the stream, Farmy Army B69. But anywho, we'll see how Callum does as he goes across the line. Will he improve to P1? Yes, he will! 4 tenths up on his lap, pushes him to a 109.1. Very, very nice from him indeed. Very, very close for to F1 as well. Anyway, we'll see what Mania does. Hopefully he will improve. No, he's not on a lap. Never mind. Scarata, I believe, is on a lap. So we'll see how he does and if he's gained any time through the first sector. It's just down on his time, which means he's struggling for a little bit of pace. However, on those new softs, I'm sure he will find more grip somewhere else. As you can see, a Racing Point has retired in the pit lane of Mites. I suppose he's happy with his time. Or he's just looking to stay outside the top 10 for the different strategy call. Anyway, as we ride on board for the end of the lap with Scarata, get a decent-ish launch at the final corner. Well, the penultimate corner. Runs out of ERS, which is definitely going to hinder his lap. Just improves P3. Again, time to gain for him if he turns the car down. Just, I'd say, probably through the little hairpin at the end in the third sector. We'll ride on board with Farfu, who goes purple sector 2, and we'll see how he does at the final corner. It's a very nice, tidy line from him. Pushes him to P4 with a 109.6, and in the process, botched Gerbil. Going P4 again as Maniac's just pushed himself up to P2, running distinctively wide with a 109.5. As you can see, qualifying has ended. Went quicker than I thought it would. As you can see, some people like Mats, Mites, Smiley, Paperstream, overly designed, will not be able to improve. Jamie as well. Maniac's done as well. Fairmoto, let's see how he does. Going across the line. Cannot improve past P3. Gerbil going in the pits. Farfu, I believe, is currently on a lap. We will see how he does going through the penultimate corner to see if he'll go anywhere further than P6. It'll be very interesting to see. It's a very nice tight line, although sometimes it does hinder the driver. Unfortunately, improves on his time, but does not move up any places. Scarata not doing a lap. Jamie will ride on board with. He's also going to run out of VRS. Diving into the pits. Also probably looking for the alternative strategy. Anywho, this is the end. Maniac wants to get to the pits as soon as he can. He's the last driver on track. But anyway, that does round out qualifying for the first ever Dutch Grand Prix to be held in F2. As you can see, peels into the pits now. Callum will need to retire, unless he wants to wait the extra minute. We'll just wait for Maniac to get into the pits. But looking in terms of constructors, it does look very, very mixed. Noticeably though, the racing or the AlphaTauris On the racing points. Looking like they've got two consistent drivers. As you can see in P7 and P6. Ferrari looking quick with Maniac in P2. And Leclerc in P8. Just need to wait for Callum to retire. And then we'll be able to move into our break in between the race and qualifying. Anywho, in the meantime, we will have a look and see. There will be some outstanding penalties, which will be applied in this race. In which Overly Designed currently is to serve a 10-second penalty this race, and will be deducted one position regardless. Unfortunately, due to his last race, which hasn't gone well. Same for Smiley with the 10-second penalty, but does not obviously have to change of position. So don't forget, these will be applied at the very end of the race, which the stewards will adjust accordingly to the overall standings. Anyway, that rounds out qualifying. Been very, very interesting to see who has pace, who does not. As you can see, I do hope people are using wet setups because it's gonna be very, very wet. This will be interesting to see nonetheless. I don't think it's wet enough for full wets, although I could be wrong. Obviously, full wet racing is a lot harder because of the loss of traction. But personally, for some reason, whatever it is, I find it harder on inters. Anyway, as you can see, Callum RGX 97 has readied up, which I do not believe he was meant to, which will probably be reported by the stewards. Anywho, as you can see, formation lap has begun. I'll be running through the qualifying results now. As you can see, P17, you have Overly Designed. P16, his Haas teammate being Smiley, in which they both have penalties anyway, so they'll have to push. As you can see, predicted pit stop strategy will probably be a one-stop for most drivers, unless you get damage. P15, Paper Stream in the Williams. His Williams teammate Dan 23X, only managing P14. Scrub or Kendo in the McLaren, P13. Yeah, it's full wet conditions, as you can see. Jamie in P12. Mites is P11, the racing point. Top 10, as you can see, I don't know what's happened there. I think they've just hit each other. Mites and Rod and Jamie. Same with Smiley and Paper Stream. Shame for them, they're going to have cold tyres. Anyway, top 10. Jamie 29X in the Red Bull. Matt's awareness in the other Red Bull. Leclerc in the second of the Ferraris in P8. Scarata in the first AlphaTauri in P7. Farfu P6. Butch Gerbil P5. Ricardo in the better of the two McLarens in P4. Fairmoto P3. Maniac P2. And Callum RGX in the Mercedes in P1. So expecting probably, I'd imagine based off race pace, the top 3 to finish top 3. Although, saying that, I don't know how people perform, especially in the wet. Some people in the dry may be shocking in the wet, or the other way round. But anyway, we will look at those and shame those that unfortunately collided in the formation lap. Anywho, we'll ride on board with Callum. As you can see, 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And away we go, racing in the Dutch Grand Prix. As you can see, the current the lineup is already messed up because this game is. But anywho, enough about that. There's wing damage flying everywhere already. This isn't the best, especially down the field. See a nice line, and Leclerc's in the wall. I was going to say a very nice outside line from Leclerc. Unfortunately, he's had a very, very poor start. There's a Red Bull round. There is a Red Bull round. Matt's awareness, unfortunately, spinning or being tapped. I'm sure as to what one. There's a lot more action going on in the midfield. I have no idea where because everything's messed up. And we're not on lap 2. However, everything's back to green flag racing. As you can see, great start from Maniac and Ricardo. Unfortunately, a little bit of a poor start from Callum and Fairmoto. Callum being pushed down to P3. But he will be looking to fight back. Fight back with pride and power, representing that Mercedes. As you can see, Maniac unfortunately not able to go flat out through there. Final corner in the embankment. Banking, yes. As you can see, finally it looks as though things are sorting itself out as we head for lap 3. It does look as though Scarata is ghosting. I don't know why, but it is. Anyway, you can see Matt's awareness is in the pits. Probably change a wing. I'm so lost here because this okay, this game, it's really messed up, but we try and power through. It's a very interesting race already so far. As you can see, Fairmoto is definitely struggling on those full wet conditions. On those tyres, they'll be probably cold, as will everyone else's drivers, although also depending on the fuel load, because the heavier you are, in theory the more grip you'll have, but at the same time, the later you're going to have to brake a little bit earlier. As you can see, Ricardo getting provisional fastest lap. And of course we'll be trying to hunt down Maniac. However, dirty air, full wet's not very fun. I'd say we'll have a look at the tyres. But obviously everyone's on full wets because it looks like it's going to be raining the entire race. As you can see, Callum does hurt the grass again. More battles down for P8, P7 in fact. No P6. It's just hell everywhere right now. As you can see, currently position changes. Dan's had a great start. 6 places gained. Heavily designed as well, gaining 4 places off the start. Fairmoto having a bit of a poor start with 3 places lost. Ricardo Farfu obviously getting up there pretty well. Anyway, we'll go back to the action now. Looks to be slowly spreading itself out a little bit, although based on the amount of mistakes people might make, As you can see, Scarata getting very, very wobbly out the final corner. Not going to help him in the slightest. As you can see, currently, we're right on board with Callum. Just under half a second behind Ricardo now. It'll be very interesting to see what unfolds. Anywho, we'll have a quick look to other drivers as well. Give everyone a little bit of TV time, because why not? As you can see, Scrub slowly making inroads, although it looks to be somewhat struggling, as I'd expect most people to be. As you can see, Paperstream is making a little bit of time now. He'll be looking to try fight his way up into the points. So I'm sure every driver outside the top 10 will also be looking to be doing the same. There's a few battles going on, although none currently that are side by side or within striking distance of. So obviously DRS not available during these torrential times, as it looks to be getting worse. This rain really does look really bad now. If only you could have a dry race under, but no. As you can see, Leclerc is slowly catching back up to Jamie. In reality, you might not see. As you can see, Smalley, I don't know what's happened here, whether Smalley's just made a simple mistake or whatever. As you can see, Scarata getting very close to Fairmoto. We'll also see telemetry, have an idea as to the usage of ERS. As you can see, there's yellow flags inside sector 2, and a Smully is round, but we won't go over to that action currently, because we'll want to see what Scarata does here, with dirty air included and everything. Yeah, he's lost the rear. Dirty air is not fun. Luckily though, he hasn't got damage. Or has he? Yeah, Scarata unfortunately lost that entire left wing. The front left is gone. So he's going to have to put very, very slowly through the remainder of the lap. Unfortunately, his race has just gone bad from pretty decently to pretty disappointingly. Yes, I did just say that. But oh well. Dan, currently just under 7/10, or in and around. Smiley, I don't know what's happened there. He's either just lost it or he has retired deliberately, unsure, no idea. But I'm going to say, based on the fact that Scarata basically crashed there, he's lost it under traction. If the car hasn't gone in time, we'll ride on board with Maniacs, see what's happened. Yeah, it looks as though he's literally just gone into the wall. As you can see, car's been cleared, and we're back to green flag. As it looks like a pretty decent battle for the P10 now. At the same time, Leclerc will run on board with him, see if he can get past Jamie. Both drivers using ERS, which are pretty full now. And also you can see Leclerc's engine light, or his fuel light is on. So he's definitely underfueled the car. As you don't really want to be overfueling it in these conditions. Especially knowing you're not going to be running rich for very long. As you can see, Scarata has now gone into the pit lane. Got the wing changed. He'll be getting back out there, pushing as hard as he can. As you can see, 7 laps in, you can see inside the top 10, they're beginning to pull pretty decent leads from those that are just away from the top 10 or the top 9, as the gap between Leclerc and mates is about 10 seconds. See Maniac getting a 1:23.9, again improving. Looks as though there is a racing line beginning to build up. Interestingly enough though as well, there's been no penalties for corner cutting. As you can see, Jamie has just hit the wall. We'll ride on board, see if he has damage. No, he looks good. You can see going on to the final corner. Jamie is not having a fun time there. Jamie's just lost the rear, making mistakes left, right and centre. So hopefully he will be able to improve. Calm the car down a little bit. Jamie's looking very, very, very excited. Those tyres must be overdone. This is not gonna look good. This is definitely very, very, very questionable. As you can see, Leclerc is just beginning to pull. But we'll see if Jamie can regain control and calm himself, regain his composure, and start again. As you can see, he's just lost about half a second, 7 tenths on his lap. Just through the pressure of Leclerc on his rear. As you can see, Parfu has just improved with a 23.7. Currently up in P4, the AlphaTauri driver. Having a little bit of a lock-up. Nothing too seriously, though. And this is where the race kind of settles down. Because no safety cars, no virtual safety cars either. Which makes it a lot better, a lot cleaner, a lot more entertaining to watch. No one really likes safety cars, although the action of having them involved can spice things up. As you can see, Matt's wellness. What the Callum has, I'm not sure, but Callum must have made a mistake somewhere. I'm gonna say he's lost the rear, putting the power down a little too early, and he's lost the position to Barfu, who's now moved onto the podium. But I'm sure Callum, who started up in P1, will be looking to regain that podium spot. But I think it's clear that you can see that also Kendo managing to get past mates. I'm not sure what happened there. Yeah, you can begin to see those that are pushing, those that aren't, and also those that have wet setups to dry setups, as well as mates not having a very good time here either. Seems to be struggling. And it does look like he's got wing damage though. You can see that right end plate is missing, so he will probably be making a move to the pit lane. This is not fun for any driver to see this. As you can see, Paperstream hasn't really understood what's going on there. That's very unfortunate for Paperstream. I'm surprised this isn't also a safety car or anything. So Scarata has now got past. That's very unfortunate for Paperstream. Was going up the inside of Smites. But unfortunately wasn't able to get into the pits because Paperstream was up inside when Mates wanted to go in, but obviously denied that, so he's had to go around again. Will kill his lap even more, and Scarata's just gone up his gone up, and Scarata has now lost his left end plate, so we'll be probably seeing Scarata in the pit lane as well. Unfortunate for the reserve driver. As you can see also Jamie has just been passed by Matt. We'll be able to see what Jamie can do in response. As you can see, ERS is active on Jamie. Although I wouldn't advise it going through a corner like that. As you can see, the indication that Scarata has entered the pit lane. Changing the front wing. Mates has followed him in as well. We'll probably be expected to see Paper Stream in there as well. As you can see, what the hell is up in there then? Jamie has spun. Unfortunately, putting the power down too early, or it's just taken the wrong angle. And you can now see also Jamie has unfortunately retired, bringing out the safety car, in which now everything will be able to bunch up, make everyone fight again. As you can see, Scarata just slowing down to try and meet that delta. Jamie's car has been cleared now. I'm probably going to assume that he's just lost the rear on entry, or he's tried to cut the corner slightly and he's backfired. So luckily for the likes of Scarata, Mites and Paper Stream, they'll be able to catch up now. As you can see, Dan Leclerc in the pit lane. I don't think there's change of wings, just pitting for brand new tyres. As you can see, also the likes of Jamie, Matt's in the pits. They're going to have to double stack. This is going to hurt Matt a lot. I don't know what's happened there. Whether that's a glitch in the game or whatever. But Jamie's been held, or he's just held himself in the pits deliberately or something. Than old-fashioned Fernando Alonso holding up Hamilton back when they were at McLaren together. But I somehow doubt that. But you never know, anything could happen in this day and age. Let's see if Maniac goes in. As you can see, yeah. Everyone will probably be looking to make a pit stop this lap, as expected. By changing their tyres, probably going to the end on these. New set of rubber. Be interesting to see. Anyone jumped anyone though? No, Maniac is fine. Ricardo fine. Farfu fine. Callum has also got ahead of Jabal. Fair Moto though, I don't think he has made a pit stop. No, he hasn't. So as you can see, the likes of Kendo, Scrub, sorry, Overly Denied, Fairmoto, all have not made pit stops. Is this a mistake? Or are they sticking to their strategies? Obviously they're sticking to their strategies. Although Scrub is in the pit lane now. Ricardo getting a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Overly Denied also in the pit lane now. So they'll be making their stops now. It's just interesting to see Fairmoto is the only one not to make a stop. So then you beg yourself to ask the question, what strategy will he be on compared to the rest of them, as to whether the rest of them will have to make yet another stop? As you can see, Jamie again in the pits, same for Scarata. Oh, that's a big move. They're on intermediates. So it does make you question as well now. Have they got the strategy right? Going for the intermediate tyres. Personally, I'm not sure, although it doesn't look as bad as it has been. So it does look like it is beginning to be intermediate conditions. Will it go to dry at the very end of the race? We shall also see. Although saying that, I hope it does still rain. I don't ask me why, but oh well. we'll have a quick look at position changes. Dan's in the pits now. Leclerc's in the pits now. Maniac's made one position. Farfu 3. Ricardo 2. Fortunately for Callum, still only down in P4. Overly designed is in P10, making up 7 places. Skirata, unfortunately, having to pit a few times, has lost 6 places, but he's on a different strategy now on the intermediate tyres. We'll see what happens. As you can see, Dan, Leclerc, and now Matt, all on the intermediate tyres. So unless Fairmoto was just holding out on those wets for the intermediate conditions, we will soon find out. Because right now it seems to be doing alright. See, Mate is now in the pits for the intermediate tyres. So I think people will probably stop this lap for intermediate tyres, just so they can get them over and done with. Although that will push everyone back down, and those that are on inters will be able to go a lot higher depending on if they're able to catch up in time. Time will only tell, but we'll ride on board with Maniac, see what he does. If he goes onto the inters, then I think the rest of them will follow. No, you can see Maniac is staying, Ricardo staying, Farfu staying. Botch Jarbel has come in though, pushing Dan up to 6th, Alert to 7th, and the Alfa Romeo driver now going on to the intermediate tyres. So currently top 5 still on those wets. Again, just looking at the spray, it's very, very in between. Based on also how far away everyone is, I'd say the safety car's probably going to come in next lap. Because you still have people still in the 3rd sector, as you can see, with Mates and Paper. Still both in the 3rd sector, going through the final corner soon enough. But yeah, quick reminder, 2 drivers with penalties, being the 2 Haas drivers, clearly not having the best of days. One of them unfortunately has DNF'd, Smalley has retired, overly designed, also does have that 10-second penalty, plus a 1 position drop. But regardless, as you can see, safety car is in this lap. So, the likes of Maniac, Ricardo, Farfu, Callum, Fairmoto, will their tyres be good enough for these conditions? People overtaking each other under the safety car, not very nice. You can see also in the stream we have people, yeah, they're not pitting, so clearly they think it is the right call for them right now. Anywho, you can hear Maniac's engine is horrific, so we'll switch to Ricardo. As you can see, there is movement also at the back, side by side with Jamie and Matt. A little bit of contact. Jamie is also struggling. Scorata making places up again. So he'll be on a mad one, trying to just catch up. As you can see, Jamie trying to send it. He might get caught out here. Although, it's very, very clean driving for these Red Bull teammates. Unfortunately for Jamie, cannot make the move stick. So he'll have to wait. Scorata in the sister car will also be looking to push, although based on what he did to crash, will be a shame if that happens again. Kendo is dropping off the pace though. But I will. Right on board with Dan. See if Motor has got into the pit lane now. I presume he's going to go onto the intermediate tyres to the end. We'll be able to see what he does. Yeah, as you can see, he's gone onto the intermediate tyres now. Still top 4 runners, all on the wets. Dan will maintain the delta to Dan and Callum, just to see whether the intermediate tyres were really the faster compound. It's very, very varied right now. But anyway, further moving down the order, you can see Jamie's got a brilliant drive. Although he did lose the rear here, very, very scarily. Also, Ricardo seems to have also made a mistake. Pushing Callum back into the top 3 now. And also you can see Farfu into top 2. And then Butch Gerbil and Jamie and... Oh god, that's not helped. Overly designed. Who's just lost the rear. Will be probably pitting this lap. I'd expect for a new wing. Yeah, you can see the right end plate's gone. But we'll be moving forwards. See how Farfu can do against Maniac. As you can see, Maniac has touched the grass, unsettling his car. So we'll be able to see how Farfu does. But you can see, based on the gap with Ricardo and Dan, the Inters are the far superior tyre right now. Just purely based on the fact that they've gained so much time. As you can see, further down, Mates has overtaken, really designed. The battle for P7 is still roaring, with a 4-car battle. Jamie looking very, very exciting. And that's very questionable. There's contact. And that's very, very scary to see. Oh, God. Oh, no. That... Jamie, yeah, that should be a safety car, but it's just a virtual one. It's scary to see that, man. Matt's just getting a great exit, going up the inside, and then Jamie just trying to retaliate. Unfortunately, tagging the back of Matt's car and going straight into the wall. Meaning that means he is the 3rd driver to retire from this race. But as we are halfway into this race now, we'll be able to see the strategy is open. Ricardo getting a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Maniac onto the intermediate tyres. Ricardo doing his 5-second penalty now. Wiz going back onto the full wets. That seems to be a big, big mistake from him. As you can see, everyone else is going onto the intermediate tyres. However, Maniac now, who was P1, is now down in all this traffic. And in the traffic that no one really likes or wants to be in, especially during this kind of race. As you can see, Dan is currently sitting in P3. He's on a charge. Yeah, it does look pretty bad still. Although, saying that, he's still maintaining that gap and closing in on Callum and Farfu. As you can see, ERS all open, all fine for the drivers, without any issues as well. And we'll see how the drivers do going through the final corner. Anyone getting a... As you can see, Dan has increased the gap and finally gone around the outside. There's contact. There is contact. But anyway, enough of that. We will allow things to go on. Ricardo getting his 5-second penalty for spinning the pit lane once again. His race is now going from bad to worst. As you can see, Fairmoto getting provisional fastest lap with a 22.8. But Dan has comfortably made it into P2. Hunting down Farfu, who is on the full wet and will also be struggling, or probably going into the pits within the next few laps, I'd imagine, for the intermediate tyres. As you can see, there are some battles going down during the midfield. Still a battle between Matt, Jarble, Skirata, and also Maniac, who's now on the back of this pack. It'll be interesting to see if Maniac will be able to pass, knowing the likes of Skirata has not been able to do that. Anyway, as you see, Farfu has now gone into the pit lane. Callum has followed him in. They will probably be going on to the intermediate tyres. Yeah, they're both on inters now. Anyway, currently, what looks to be the potential top 3 being Dan, Leclerc, and Gerbil. Although P3 is very, very up for debate right now, being there's some very fast drivers closing the gap. Farfu currently on the intermediate tyres, Will almost fresh tyres and fresh air. And clean air, more importantly. He will be able to make a charge, try to get back up to the Maniac. As you can see, Fairmoto down with Scrub, which they'll be interested to see what they do. As you can see, Paper Stream has gone into the pits, come back out, probably for a new set of tyres. We'll move back up so we see this battle for P3, although currently Skirata's not managing to maintain that gap to Gerbil, so it's now basically a battle for P4. As you can see, Ricardo getting the fastest lap with a 1:21.5, and Moto managing to now get past Scrub for P9. But there's still a raging battle going on between these 3 drivers, and as you can see, Farfu now is catching up to the back of Maniac. So, is this gone from bad to worse for the likes of Maniac and Farfu and Callum? I think so. I don't think that staying on those full wets has helped them. If anything, I think it's definitely hindered them more. As you can see, Skirata did make what looks to be a mistake. As you can see, Maniac is right on the rear now of back of Matt. Will definitely be looking to make a pass as soon as he can. Obviously, Farfu now inside 1 second. So Maniac will probably be beginning to panic a little bit. Just so he can try and do his best. this is a very, very close battle. 13 laps left of this race. As you can see, Skirata getting the 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Unfortunately, cutting those corners and exceeding those track limits. Something you hate in this game, but you learn to live with it. As you can see, Callum currently going faster with a 21.3, who's also now catching the back of Farfu. And soon enough, you might actually see Fairmoto also catch the back of this pack. As you can see, yellow flags. Might has unfortunately lost the rear going for the final corner. But we ride on board with Maniac anyway. He's got 2 cars either side of him. So this will be very interesting to see what happens here. Cut in the crossfire of everything. Obviously, drivers don't really have much knowledge as to what's going on here. Being Zandvoort isn't a favourite of everyone's, and also was added to this game for the first time. But this is this is definitely entertaining, to say so myself. As you can see, Maniac going side by side with Matt now. Maniac's ERS unfortunately is empty and is not able to make the move. And so he's had to back out of it. Although, I'll see if he's going to get a decent run into this corner, see if he'll go up the inside or go around the outside. He's made contact for sure, ruining his line, especially knowing he's also on a controller, interestingly enough. So I'm unsure to see if people are on wheels or controllers. As I believe around this track, it doesn't really matter that much. But some corners there is a noticeable difference. As you can hear, a slight lock up from Maniac. So he's just trying to push as hard as he can, taking as much curbing as he possibly can. And Farfu right behind him is slowly catching up. So Maniac is beginning to make a few errors. Missing some apexes, going very aggressive into some corners as well. But as you can see, top 3, top 4, spread out by quite a considerable distance of each other, and P12 and backwards as well is separated by probably a pit lane. No. Pit stop. Yes, my brain. Sorry, guys. As you can see, this is a great run by Maniac. This is really nice racing here. Probably some of the best and cleanest racing I've actually seen in a long time. But as of now, as you can see, Moto is now catching the back of this group, who's unable to pass the likes of Skirata. Which you can see, Moto is definitely catching by the second. But you can genuinely see Maniac is trying his hardest just to push and push and push. In some situations, literally pushing Matt through corners. As you can see, Ricardo gets another 3-second penalty. His race is really not going well, as he's just outside our top 10 now. With 10 laps left of this race. Maniac is trying to gain as much time as he can, although he's going very close and also very tight into those corners, leaving a bad exit. As you can see, Farfu is now just gaining. Callum, okay, I did not see this. Side by side, Farfu and Callum. We'll see who backs out. As you can see, no driver really backs out of this. I don't know who to watch right now, which POV. As you can see, Callum gets an amazing exit using that overtake button. And Farfu, unfortunately, having to give up that position. Not really willing to challenge all that much. Just probably sitting behind. As you can see also now, Fairmoto within half a second of Farfu. This is very, very interesting. It's just, I don't know how to explain this. Now I can understand why this is such a good league. It's the competitiveness and just the raw entertainment. And you can see Fairmoto cutting as many corners as he physically can. Lovely. And you can now see Butch Gerbil just outside 1 second window of Leclerc as well now. Just up ahead in P3. Skirata unfortunately not able to close the gap, and he is just about staying where he is for now. But Fairmoto unfortunately just outside the 1 second window again. You can hear Farfus constantly locking up there though. He's right back on board with Maniac. He's still really panicking right now to get past Matt. Because Matt is not closing that gap to Skirata the way he would probably be wanting. What the hell's happened here then? Skirata in the pit lane. I think he's just lost his wing. Yeah, you can see wing change from right end plate is off, so he's just lost the rear. So luckily for Matt, he'll be able to press on, hopefully. As you can see, Skirata's now just retired in the pits. Boss Gerbil now is inside that 1 second window. So P2 will definitely be an interesting battle. As you can see, Skirata's AI is now just going off onto the circuit. Yeah. So Skirata's AI will be racing with us, apparently. But he'll be pulling off anyway. And as you can see, watch Gerbil now, just 7 tenths off that P2 spot. Unfortunately for Dan, you could see, unfortunately for Leclerc, you can see Dan just off in the distance there. As you can see, Leclerc definitely struggling as well. To put the traction down early enough to get a good enough run. And now you can see from the minimap, provided Skirata has pulled off to the side and his AI car has gone. As you can see, both drivers both losing the rear, hitting that inside curb, something you don't want to do in this game. Curbs, especially in the wet, you don't want to touch, otherwise you'll be sent flying. As you can see, cheeky short shift from Maniac. And Jamie has left the session. With 6 laps left, we've lost 4 drivers. Skirata X, Jamie 29, Jamie, the other Jamie, Roddy, I'm guessing, and Smiley. So Smiley's penalty will likely be carried over to the next race. As you can see, Ricardo does get another 3-second penalty. But you will also be able to see Overly designed, don't forget, does have that penalty. And the 1 position drop, although based on the fact he's 11th, he probably won't mind that too much, as he's unlikely going to get points. being 33 seconds behind Ricciardo, who is fighting with his teammate. Then we also ride ahead, and we can see Botch Gerbil has now really closed in the gap to Leclerc. Although dirty air definitely is not helping his situation at all. So right now, if any one of these two drivers makes a mistake, that's it. They will be out of the podium probably. Although I'm not sure about penalties because I don't really see them getting that many penalties. I'm not going to visit the race director because it's more interesting to see how people battle on track in case I miss anything, and also it's better for a surprise for everyone because why not? It's a bit boring if you already know what's happening. But oh well. See, Maniac still trying to push and push, and also Fair Motor now right on the back of them now with this pack. This is really, really intense racing. So we'll see now if Maniac, who unfortunately has no ERS, Matt is just pushing with this ERS. Yeah, you can see Maniac just does not have the straight line speed to be able to get past Matt. This is definitely hindering his race. Remember, Maniac was in P1 at one point until he made that so crucial decision to stay on the wets when the safety car came out. It just hasn't worked this, unfortunately, for him. You see, Mates has got past up into P11. So you can see Callum now trying to get on the back of Maniac. Likewise with Farfu. Farfu does set purple sector 1. And my voice is in pain, but oh well. I'd rather sacrifice it for the race because this race is probably one of the most entertaining I've ever seen. And oh, whoa, what's going on here then? Fair Moto has got past Farfu. I don't know how I've missed this, but I have. I'm gonna guess dive bomb, because why wouldn't you? Getting onto the straight now. Maniac getting fastest lap with a 20.8. You can see this track is beginning to dry a little bit. With the inters also warming somewhat, try to get some more traction. 3 laps left. Ricciardo now sets an even quicker lap with it. So Ricciardo right now as it stands would get the fastest lap. And you can see also Botch Gerbil is slowly on the back of Leclerc. Although will they be able to make a move within 3 laps? We will find out. As this big battle for 4th goes on. It'll be interesting to see, because one mistake from the likes of Maniac, he's at it. He's not getting that P4. Or even that P5 for that matter. Oh, about P2, here we go! Run and board, ERS, very, very even. Botch Gerbil does try and make a move for the outside. Fastest laps left, right and centre. But oh well, this is now the battle of the race. Will Botch Gerbil be able to make much of an inroad? Not really. He had a great exit from the final corner. Great straight line speed, but fortunately he's just not able to pass Leclerc. Because you have to be really, really brave in the dry alone around this track. But in the wet it's just even more painful. And as you can see, Farfu down below trying to gain time on Fair Moto. Well, it's just 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 3 tenths. It's just hell. Callum trying to get the best exit he can onto the back of Maniac. can see Maniac just trying to brake as late as he can as he gets it all wrong. He makes a big mistake. I don't know whether it was just touched or he's just lost it and got some oversteer, which is not ideal. And I missed it. Great. Lovely game. As you can see, what's Gerbil getting past Leclerc. And also, that's contact. There, Moto and Farfu. Farfu's just trying to get as far into this race as he can and make as many places up as he can. But unfortunately, not able to make the move. Moving back up with Leclerc. See, will he be able to retaliate on Box Gerbil? We look at the ERS. It's both pretty low. However, there is still more to give. And you can see down below P7 Fairmoto is... You can see when he brakes really late. Same for Farfu. See, this battle right here is a really, really big one. Because it can decide quite a few points here. And it's all up for grabs. As you can see up ahead, P3 Leclerc has dropped off the pace now. So we'll be able to see what will happen from him. But I've just remembered, Dan joined late into qualifying onto the final lap. Started what, P14, is now on P1. For once, the Williams strategies are working. He's just driven that car all the way. But somehow Box Gerbil is on a mad one. Can we see a very late move for P1? Dan might want to pick up the pace a little bit. And also, as you can see, the likes of Callum going to be trying to make as late a move as he possibly can. Right on board with Box Gerbil within a second now of Dan. And you can also see just ahead of Dan there is a lapped car. And there's a car that needs lapping anyway. It's Gerbil really putting the pressure on. The fuel light is on, so it'll be very, very low on fuel as well. As we go for the penultimate corner, Box Gerbil just gaining that extra little bit of time. It's just a matter of running down to the line. Oh my, this is going to be interesting to see. But Dan just being able to win the race. And you can see Gerbil has been put down to P3 through the penalties that he's just unfortunately accumulated with the unserved penalty. Leclerc getting P2. And yeah, as you can see, Box Gerbil getting P3. Maniac getting P4. Fairmoto getting P5. Matt getting P6 through penalties. Callum, unfortunately, I believe he had a penalty as well. Down in P7, his AI is really not happy. Farfu in P8. Scrub finishing in P9. Ricardo rounding out the top 10. Just half a second behind his teammate. We'll ride into the penultimate corner with mates. As you can see, he's currently 41 seconds off the pace. Overtake to the line. And finishes 30 seconds behind with the penalties. As you can see, overly designed, finishing P12. But with penalties carried on through this race, he will be last. And hopefully his penalties will be removed. Anyway, GG for all those that were racing. I hope that wasn't too boring for those that were listening and watching the stream. We will, after the champagne, be joined by the top 3 in the interviews, and we'll be able to see and get their thoughts and feelings for the end of the race, throughout the race, of course. I think it's quite clear driver of the day must be Dan, starting from P14, getting all the way to P1. We will begin to invite those. We'll begin to invite those into the party. As you can see, a few penalties here and there. Relatively clean. But we'll be able to invite people now. Welcome, Dan. Make sure you include your audio. Welcome, Leclerc. And watch Gerbil. If you can include your audio as well.
Yep.
Alright. Well, without further ado, we will start off with the race winner. Dan, how do you feel after starting P14 on the grid?
I mean, I had work till 9, so I was going to miss quali anyway. And I thought, I'll get one lap in, and the game was framed as one of my worst ever laps I've set. But I was like, it's the rain, anything can happen. I just wanted points, but to get a win, it was just ridiculous.
That's really good to hear. I figured that you'd come late anyway. But as you can tell, at the end of the race, Botch Gerbil was right behind you. Were you able to keep composed throughout that final lap, or were you just trying to have to push and hope for the best?
I mean, my tyres were on 73%, so I was pushing like crazy. And then, because I knew he was so much quicker than me, and it was like 1.2 seconds at the start of the lap, and it was just getting closer and closer and closer. I was like, oh no. And I didn't realise he had a penalty. I thought he was going to get me, but I'll take that.
Yeah, he had an unserved 5-second penalty, unfortunately. Well, actually, we'll go to you now, Botched. What happened with that penalty? Were you just speeding the pit lane, or was it some incident that happened during the race?
Actually, it was under the safety car. The Red Bull behind me hit me under a safety car and gave me a 5-second penalty. So.
That's very unfortunate for yourself.
Yeah.
Based on your race pace, I presume that you are feeling very comfortable on those tires in the wet. How quick would you normally say you are on in the wet?
Yeah, I'm usually pretty quick. Netherlands, I do find it's one of the easier tracks in the wet. So I did do some practice there in the wet before. So yeah, really got in my groove there at the end and started picking up the pace there, especially on the worn inters.
Yeah, did you start the race knowing it would be raining anyway, so you had a wet setup prepared, or would you just say the dry setup is basically a wet setup based on the amount of aero you need on this track anyway?
No, I tweaked my setup a bit. I bumped up the ride height a bit, lowered my brake bias, and then obviously up my aero just a tad. And then, that gave me a great advantage. I felt pretty comfortable, especially in the high-speed corners.
Yeah, you must have been really glad that you managed to clear the likes of Leclerc and obviously the midfield, knowing that down the field just behind you with Skurata, Maniac and all those lot, they were just fighting the entire race within a second, but no one could get past each other. You must be just feeling lucky that happened.
Yeah, I was getting really worried, and I felt like the only time I could pass Leclerc was if he made a little mistake, Fortunately for him, unfortunate for me, he did, and I was able to just squeak by there.
Yeah, and that's great for you. But yeah, well done on P2. Leclerc, unfortunately for you, not able to get that P2. Still P3 though. How do you feel now, knowing that you just finished this in P3 rather than what you could have got in P2?
Well, considering where we qualified in 8th place, I think it was quite slow. Well, slower than the guys in front. Didn't think we had a chance. So to get them all on strategy.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
were you a bit surprised by the fact that the top 5 at the time just hadn't pitted for the Inters, whereas pretty much everyone else had?
Yeah, and no, because we actually pit for the wet tyres again, and then we had the gap to the midwell for the guys behind to pit again for Inters. So we kind of got away with it a little bit. But yeah, they just didn't have the time. They were already closed up together. So yeah, no.
Yeah, I guess that's just the art of being able to time things right, which you inevitably did. But anyway, how are you feeling going into the next round? Obviously, we didn't have Austria last weekend, but how are you feeling going into China?
I think I'm pretty strong around China, so it should be a decent race for me at least. I hope for another top 5 area, really.
Yeah, likewise, Dan. How do you feel going into China? Is it a strong track for you, or?
If it's dry, I mean, I feel like I'm not as quick as the likes of Leclerc round China. But I'm definitely quicker than what I am in the wet round here. I had no pace round here, so I'll take top 5 round China.
Well, you say you had no pace round here, yet you somehow go from P14 to win. So clearly you must have pace.
I'm just a master strategist now. If you look at the fast laps at the end, me and Leclerc both had like the 3rd slowest fastest laps compared to everyone else.
I guess it's just down to consistency. So
yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, I'll allow you 3 to disappear now. Thank you for joining me. Congratulations, going from P1 to P3. And hopefully we'll be able to see you here, same time, same place next week, obviously around China.
Cheers.
But yeah, thank you everyone for watching the Xbox F2 round 3, the Dutch Grand Prix of Invictus Racing League. I've been your host, Dixie Thomas, and hopefully I'll be able to see you guys next weekend for round 4, which is China. Be very interesting to see what happens there. God knows what's going to happen. But we will see you next week. Yeah, thank you all for watching, and goodbye.